liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you. And we now have the reading of the mission statement and the roll call done by Jim Sohan. Jim?
Thank you, Mr. President. The mission of this club shall be to advance the principles and purposes of the Republican Party, to elect Republican candidates to public office, to strengthen the civic welfare of the community, and to engage in a vigorous exchange of ideas supporting Republican values. And you want me to do the roll call? Okay. Daniel Mayo. David Abraham. Kathy Lally. Slil Levy. David Kemp. Isaiah Vega. Isaiah's not here? Isaiah Vega. Carol Crone, I know I saw her. Sophia Worrell. James Schwartzman. Martha Rowan. Arkadiusz Tomaszewski. Aye, okay. Phil McManus. Juan Pagan.
Here.
Oh, that was great. Gile Chow. Gerard Lally. Emily Tseng. Stephen Weiner. Oh. Jim Starhorn, that's me. Martha Rowan. Philip Grillo. Stan Norwalk. Ruben Cruz.
Present.
Wow, that was a great one. Joel Solomon.
Testing 1, 2.
Catherine Donnelly. Craig Tyson. And I believe that's it. That's it. Mr. President.
Okay.
I think that's it, right?
Sure. Before we do the reading of the minutes, I would also like one of the joint sponsors of tonight's meeting, the JFK Democrat Club of Queens. Jeff Gottlieb is the president. I'd like to give him a chance to say a few words. Jeff?
Thank you very much, Dan. I want to thank you for setting this meeting up and for advertising it. John F. Kennedy Democratic Club has been in existence for a number of years. It started out as Club 82 on Jamaica Avenue and 82nd Street. Then it moved over to the RKO building on Hillside Avenue and Myrtle. And then we moved to several other locations. The JFK Club voted with others to join another political organization, but we didn't follow our own constitution. So it's still the JFK Regular Democratic Club. We have a number of members, we have a board of directors, we don't have a 501c3. People, we have that for my Central Queens Historical Association. That's where you get monies and you get tax breaks on it. We have a board of directors. We meet at the Jewish Center of Kew Gardens Hills. And one of the things that we have is that we're switching over our meetings to the Hillcrest Jewish Center. Reason being, the Jewish Center of Kew Garden Hills doesn't have enough of an administration to really do a job in seating our people. I'm glad to see Dan has done such a great job here. He's a good friend. We share materials on a number of topics. And I think we'll have a pretty good evening. So hit us with some good questions. I'm a Democrat, but in past I have voted for the President, Donald Trump. He did a great job. Did a great job in Venezuela. I think that was a perfect job, super job that he did in switching that around. Thank you.
Well, actually, that's for the debate.
I think a couple other things that he's trying to do. I'm hoping everything works out with Iran. They're evil in many respects as to their leadership. The people are okay. But when you stand up and you do what we do in America, stand, I believe in this, I don't believe in that, you're not butchered, you're not killed off greatly.
Okay.
Anyway. You'll find out I won't be able to stand up straight. I have difficulty with physical attributes.
We're going to move. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, we're going to. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Okay, let's see. We're going to do the reading of the minutes, but before we get to that, I'm going to pass out index cards. Any questions you want to ask initially, we're going to have the cards read by our moderator, Charles Henry, who's here with us tonight. So we're going to do the minutes, and I'm going to pass out the index cards, write down your questions. I'm going to collect them and give it to Charles. Go ahead.
The meeting of the regular meeting of the Central Queens Republican Club was held on February 15, 2026, near Grace Lutheran Church, 10315 Union Turnpike. Before the meeting was called to order at 7:30 p.m., Robert Schinkel entertained the audience. Guest speakers included Carolyn Schinkel and Greg Hatch, who led the Pledge of Allegiance. Jim Strawthorne read the mission statement and did a roll call. Harris Body read the January 15, 2026 meeting minutes. Anton Trapman motioned to adopt the minutes, seconded by Eric, and it was passed with Isaiah Vega casting a nay vote. Daniel reported a bank balance of $4,126.20 with approximately 60 paying members. Board members in attendance were Sophia, Worrell, Isaiah Vega, Daniel Mayo, Jim Strawhorn, Arkadiusz Tomaszewski, Stan Norwalk, and Phil Grillo. Absent were Carol Crone, Craig Tyson, Martha Rowan, James Schwartzman, David Abraham, Sylvia Levy, David Kemp, Emily Zen, Joel Solomon, Stephen Weiner, Catherine Donnelly, Gila Cow, Gerard Lally, Ruben Cruz, Juan Hogan, Kathy Lally, and Phil McManus. 19 members and 16 non-members were in attendance. Ronald Ike promoted Compost Connect Collective, which meets every Saturday at Kessel Street and Yellowstone Boulevard from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Harris Body opined that Bruce Blakeman should have picked a female lieutenant governor, and a better choice for attorney general is Keith Wolford instead of Sarita Komati Reddy. Jonathan Rinaldi warned that Finger Lakes water resources could be sold to power AI data centers. Daniel recommended attending the Queensville Republican Club's Lincoln Dinner on March 1st and recognized Harris Body for having filed his petition to run for City Council District 3 special election to be held on April 28th. Stan Norwalk announced that the board and the JFK Regular Democratic Club approved a Democrats versus Republicans debate to be held at this club's next meeting on March 19th. Congressional candidates: Amy Jordan, running for Jerry Nadler's seat in District 12, has lived with type 1 diabetes for 52 years. Her pharmacy, CVS, changed its insulin formulary, which caused her insurance to deny coverage of her $601.99 monthly charge. Amy, a disability advocate, is fighting back by taking the political stage. Carolyn Schinkel, also running in District 12, was born before Nadler was elected. She graduated from MIT and Harvard Law, worked at the Federal Reserve and Central Bank of Israel, is a SAG-AFTRA member, and practices corporate law. Greg Hatch, an Air Force veteran, was in Berlin when the wall came down. He studied law, worked pro bono on 9/11 cases, and started Hatch and Rose Law Firm. He said 93% of Americans don't trust politicians. He is committed to reverse that and plans to spend around $1 million of his own money. His current opponent is the Nassau County GOP party. Joel Anabila Azuma is the endorsed Brooklyn GOP candidate against Yvette Clarke in the 9th Congressional District. His platform is to stop the rise of machine automation in government, stop World War III, and stop banning of alternate voices and censorship. Questions asked include marijuana, Thomas Sowell's axiom, there are no solutions, only trade-offs, Tom Suozzi, taxation, affordability, unfair handouts to illegals, ICE, and how to be made known before voters. Eric Tomaszewski won the 50-50 raffle and gave his share of the winnings as membership payment to Ida Lee Law. Phil Grillo announced he was just denied endorsement by the Queens County GOP for a State Assembly District 26 and declared war. Ronnie Eith motioned to adjourn and was seconded by Joe at 9:35 p.m.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes? Jim?
Yeah, the one person whose name was read as Hatch,
Mm-hmm.
I think his name was actually Hack.
Hack, okay.
H-A-C-H, pronounced Hack. I talked to him afterwards there.
Okay, so the pronunciation is hack.
Yeah.
Thanks.
He's a wonderful hack.
Are there any other comments or corrections? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes as read? Anton? Okay, and Richard? Okay, all in favor says aye. All opposed? Okay. Oh, 2 nays. First time. Okay. Moving on next, okay, we'll go into the announcement sections. As most of you know who have been to the club meeting regularly, announcement is basically open to anybody who wants to say something. We do have an announcement guest that came together. He's with the Compost Collective, Carlos Vicentes. Justina, you want us to come up? Yes. Floor is yours. You know you were going first, but okay. Oh, sorry. Here. Okay, no problem.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for giving us a moment. We're going to try to be brief. We are your neighbors. We live here in Forest Hills, actually live like 5 blocks away. Anyways, who are we? We are the Compost Collective. The Compost Collective has been around since 2008. We started actually at the Church in the Gardens, a sister church to this one, down the street. We were there for a few years. We started collecting from the CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture Group, where you buy directly from the farmer, and it helps out the farmers that way. And we started sort of composting food waste. We started doing that because we started watching a lot of documentaries when we moved here from Hell's Kitchen, and a lot of the documentaries we were watching were like really sort of depressing. I don't know if you ever watched them, but they're very depressing. And so we went from that to like trying to be a little bit more active, and we decided that we wanted to do something that was affordable to everyone and everybody could be within reach. So we decided to do composting. I don't know how many of you actually know what composting is, but I'll give you like something very simple. It's a natural process of decomposition, and it harnesses, that we harness to create food for the soil. So it's sort of like something that you add to the soil to make it more rich so you can make more vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. We started doing this in 2012 at the site where we are right now, which is on Kessel Street in the junction with Yellowstone Boulevard. We welcome everybody. We're apolitical, we're a 501c3. We do not talk about politics. I think that because I think when it comes to people who do things with the environment or anything like that, sort of like oftentimes we get a bad tag, right? I'm a veteran, so when providing environmental education is one of the things that we do, and we are all about building community. So coming out of the Church in the Gardens, one of the things that came out of that was like stewardship for and responsibility for the earth. So we want to be good stewards of the earth and of the land. And so we take care of what we've been given. So we have like a whole bunch of maple trees over there. And what we've done with those maple trees is we are the first place in Queens in I don't know how many years, working with Cornell University. And we're actually collecting currently with a school called LaGuardia Community College, with St. John's and a couple other universities around. We're collecting the sap from these trees. We've tested it, we actually tasted it, and it's actually pretty delicious. So we're actually making maple syrup here in the neighborhood. We also have an apiary, we have like bees. I'm a beekeeper myself. And so we are teaching like a whole bunch of people how to become beekeepers in the neighborhood. Typically to become beekeepers like $3,000. It's kind of unaffordable for a lot of people. So we started by charging $450, which is just cost for people. Now we've gone up a little bit in price, but it's still pretty affordable. It could, because we're a non-for-profit, we try to sort of keep things available to people. Our whole mission is to make things available to people and to everyone around. We also look at local control and community action, volunteer efforts that we have. We have hens and we have eggs. I know you all remember when the eggs went through the roof, the price. So that's one of the things that we do. We have maple syrup, like I mentioned. We have apiaries, we collect honey, and we have some veggies. And it's all about self-reliance and teaching self-reliance to people. We're helping preserve heritage, land, and wildlife. By doing everything sort of like from scratch. We took out a lot of the non-native trees that were there in that site. We work with an arborist and we work with a forester, and they come with the little hammers and start looking at things and saying, oh, this works, it doesn't work. So they started sort of taking down certain trees that were non-native. And as soon as we did that, we used the biomass, which just means the trunks and the sawdust and all those things, to sort of remediate the earth that was there, the soil. So I don't want to get too technical, but like the soil there, when we first started testing like a little higher than normal for like a playground on lead. And then when we put in these layers, which is called lasagna gardening, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's like layers of sawdust, biomass, and compost, and repeat. When we tested the soil again, the soil is at 0 parts per million for lead. So we actually are like really good. So we are trying our very best. We're self-funded. We don't get any money from the government. We're the community taking care of each other and taking care of the community ourselves. When we had a lady who had a tree that fell down in front of her, I don't know if any of you have had a tree fall down, but it costs a lot of money. She got quotes up to $4,000. The team at the site took care of it for like $400, which was cost again. So those are the things that we sort of offer to people who become members. It's all about creating resiliency and taking care of each other. If we learn something from the pandemic, is that we're all sort of interconnected, and we have to take care of each other. So that's one of those big things. Economic practicality is one of those things that we sort of go over and we do. Volunteering sort of reduces the strain on the municipal services. My background is in science, but I also I work in emergency management right now for the Department of Health. And my job is to look at capabilities and sort of identify gaps to try to make sure that things run smoothly during an emergency. So having that in mind, it's like in having that mindset, we try to make sure that we are as efficient as possible with as little as we have. Also in the public health and safety, I don't know how many of you know that lot that we occupy right now, but that lot was like derelict. It was full of garbage, the lights weren't working properly over there. Under the bridge. There was crime that was happening. It was terrible. We actually removed cars and toilet bowls and you name it, and poison ivy. And for example, when Justina came to work with us, she was like 13. And she's been working there for like a while, volunteering. She's just turned 18. And Justina even because we're about like civic service. And I think that's like a place where we all sort of gather around. Just the fact that you are here to watch a debate, we all gather around those things. Having served in the military in the past, one of the things that I remember is like when we went abroad, oftentimes it wasn't like what our differences were, but it was more about what made us sort of American. And I think we've forgotten that a little bit. And I think that we need to remember that a little bit more. And so for that reason, I think it's important for us to sort of take that civic duty and sort of go and volunteer and sort of be there and make yourself counted and be present. The Compost Collective, we don't accept bullying. We don't accept like people talking about politics. You come, you work, you get dirty, you go home, you make some friends. It's good fun. We actually had somebody here come out and volunteer. Raise your hand, there you go. And it was great. Justina's going to tell you a little bit about one of the things that we offer, which is we offer kids to be able to go to either girl state or boy state. And so she's going to talk for about a minute about it.
Hello, everyone. The Compost Collectives gives young people many really great opportunities. One of them is ALA Girls State, which is basically a lot of girls from the whole entire New York State. They go to one place, usually, what was the college?
Upstate, yeah.
Upstate in a college. And we dorm there for a week in the summer. And it's basically a whole political thing where we participate in debates and we get elected as like faux officials. We maintain our own little state, our own like fake 51st state. And it's really great. And you do a lot of political things, but it's not all about like Republican and Democrat. It's all just like being together and participating in this like really great community and like learning about politics basically. And we got to meet a lot of wonderful people, a lot of really like smart like ladies, because yeah.
I'll take over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's those opportunities for debates and things like that, where kids can actually come and not only get hours, but actually go and earn money doing those things. So it's really nice. It's sort of like you get to know a lot of people there. Also, we have everything from people who are in their 80s volunteering, who are in great shape, better shape than I am, and little kids. I still don't understand. People just come and they bring their kids and they keep bringing their kids. And I think that's a testament to what we're doing, that trust. I don't know if I would have had that trust personally, but it's really nice that they do that. And it's sort of a reminder about our future is bright.
2 microphones.
That our future is bright. And I think that, if you have the opportunity to come and volunteer, come and do so. There are 2 people over there also that I see that actually volunteered before. They used to come and get some soil. They're waving. So again, we cross all boundaries. We keep ourselves apolitical. If you're able to sort of get yourself involved, come. We welcome you with open arms. And from time to time we do something which is on high holidays, I'll call it. We raise the flag. And I don't know when that became sort of contentious, but we do that. So you learn how to fold the flag. Yeah. So come by, say hello, drop in. If you have tools, please bring them. If you can donate funds, we'll take it, because we come from the church originally, because we come from faith-based originally. We have 3 things that we ask for: gifts. Those gifts are your skill set, which everybody has a skill set. We ask for your time, if you have that to give, or we ask for your funds, if you have that to give. Either or, anything and everything helps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see, just a quick reminder for those who are filling out question cards, please keep in mind, because there's so many topics, as we indicate on our website, we're only limited to the presidential candidates, anything related to national issues. Next speaker, Jonathan Rinaldi.
This is going to be great. How are you, my friends? All right, here we go. I just want to take this moment to tell you guys and everybody else who I am and why I'm standing here today as a Democrat. I didn't grow up thinking in terms of party labels. I was trying to understand why life keeps getting harder for everyday New Yorkers, why rent keeps going up, why energy bills keep rising, why people who work full-time still feel like they're falling behind. For a long time, I thought the answers might be on the Republican side. But over time, I had to be honest about what I was actually seeing in people's lives. I didn't leave the Republican Party. The cost of living left me no choice. It's whether it's working for the people, because working people deserve more than just getting by. They deserve stability, they deserve dignity, they deserve a fair shot at staying in the communities that they built. That's why I'm here today as a Democrat, not because it's convenient, but because I believe in fighting for the working people and taking on the cost of living crisis head on. I am not a career politician. I am not backed by party bosses or big money. I am someone who looked at reality and was willing to change. I'm here to listen, to work, and to earn your trust. Even if we don't agree on everything yet, I think we can still agree on this. People shouldn't be priced out of their own lives. I didn't come here to ask what the Democratic Party can do for me. I came here to fight for what we should be doing for working people. I'm here to make New York livable again. And I am the only local candidate to bridge this gap. So standing in solidarity, I want to make history, and I want a Democrat to sign my petition in a Republican club. What do you say, Alan?
What are you running for my district?
Okay, is anyone in this district?
Okay.
Solidarity.
Anyone? Shall we move on to the next speaker?
I'm running for assembly.
Okay, I guess, is Melvin Rivera in yet? Okay. Oh, Melvin, please, come on, Melvin Rivera. He's running for Congress in the 7th District against Nydia Velazquez. Okay? Go ahead. No problem. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melvin Rivera. I'm running for Congressional District 7. You know, Lydia Velasquez is retiring this year, and she wants to pass down the seat to Antonio Reynoso. Secession rights. I'm a longtime activist. I was born and raised in Bushwick. And I've done, on paper, I've done a lot of stuff. I worked on legislation. I worked on the Good Cause Eviction Bill with Julia Salazar in 2020, right? And I want to drive this home because the Democratic Party is having a civil war right now between two factions. We have the Democratic Socialists of America, which are the gentrifiers who are taking over local communities and government, right, alike. And then we have the old faction, the rhinos, the career politicians who have, who have neglected us for years. And because they're at civil war, we're caught in the middle of this. In 2020, I helped Julia Salazar draft a bill, the Good Cause Eviction Bill. At this time, Chuck Schumer had his own version of that bill, and he refused to pass hers, which was stronger because he didn't have his name on it. The bill didn't have his name on it. So what we're talking about are self-serving politicians, right? And what happened there in 2020, they had the House, they had the Senate, and they had the auto pen. And still with all that, they couldn't pass laws to help the average person, right? Now, if we fast forward today, we find Mandani at odds with Governor Hochul. And again, we find ourselves in the middle of those odds, paying the cost. That party is divided, and we cannot stand, and our house divided cannot stand. A vote for that party is a vote lost, and our future, and hope is lost too. The Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, are putting black and brown faces in our communities, and because we vote blue, or Democrats vote blue, no matter who, and I was guilty of that when I was a Democrat, we're voting in gentrifiers with gentrified agendas. I want to change that. I want to expose the corruption. I worked myself up from homelessness. I'm a homeowner now. I never thought I'd be in politics. I worked for the mayor's office, right, since the Blasio era. It was my idea to distribute masks during the pandemic. That's foresight, that's leadership. Not giving out a bus. Giving out a bus in one borough doesn't move the needle when it comes to quality of life. As a matter of fact, if you didn't live on that line, you didn't benefit from that bus, right? So what we need is foresight, we need leadership, and I have that. I built that from the ground up through my struggles. So thank you, Daddy Mail. Thank you for having me here. Yes, yes, sir.
What's your name again, and how can you be contacted?
My name is Melvin Rivera. I could be contacted at thinkrepublic@gmail.com. Replace the E with a 3, so that's Republic with a 3. thinkrepublic@gmail.com. Also, you can leave a note. My website's not up yet, but my website is melvinforcongress.com. I'm still working on my website. Got some technical difficulties, but it should be up hopefully soon. And yeah, those are the best ways to contact me. I'll leave some contact information too. I'll go around at the end of the meeting. I'm running as a conservative Republican. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other announcements before we get to the main event tonight? Steve Gillen, you have something you'd like to say? Okay, nothing. Amazing. All right, if there's no more.
I do.
Okay, you want to come up?
Well, I can do right from here. Everybody knows that the Senate is working on the same, right? Yeah. Everybody has to keep pressure on. Move forward a little bit as a example.
Can't hear you.
They're going to try to get it through in a different manner instead of having to go to filibuster. But we have to keep pressure on Republicans. We got word late today, they're going to work through the weekend on it. All right, so there's some good Republicans that are pushing this really, really hard. It's up to us to keep the pressure on. So call, send emails. We got, the other day, we had 21.3 million people follow on X Senator Lee's tweet. That's a lot of people that care about this issue. We all have to care about this issue.
Thank you very much. We got Steve Gillen on the Federal SAVE Act. Before Larry to move on, for those who came in the meeting earlier, Larry Block plays wonderful music. I just wanted to please give him a hand for his, as well as for Michael Ruiz as well. Thank you, Michael. You good? And as he told me before, only the Democrat panel thanked him. All right. let me go ahead. Let's go to the meeting then. The debate on national issues on President Trump. The moderator tonight is Mr. Charles Henry, and I guess I'm going to let Mr. Henry take over. Now, certainly everyone is entitled to their opinion. Our objective tonight is just really understand some of the reasonings. Hopefully we could, instead of really keeping it inside of us, let us at least get it out. Let's understand each other, and at the end of the meeting, I hope they all shake each other's hands, and that's what we want. So Charles Henry, all yours. Take it away.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is Charles Henry. I've been asked to moderate the debate tonight. So this evening's political debate is sponsored by the JFK Democratic Club of Queens and Central Queens Republican Club. So at this time, let's have all the panelists introduce themselves.
How much time?
Oh, wait.
Hello, I guess I'll start. Okay, hello everyone. It's good to be back here in the Central Queens Republican Club, and welcome JFK Democratic Club. Thank you very much, Danny, for talking me into this. So, my name is Phil Orenstein. I'm the president of the Queens Village Republican Club. It's America's oldest Republican club. Just want to set the record straight. I'm not the oldest Republican in America. It's the oldest Republican club in America. Just wanted to, get that out there. But, I'm looking forward to this debate. And I believe the most important issues on the international level is the war on Iran. And nationally, it's the Save America Act, because I think most Americans, 83% of Americans, feel it's very important that when you vote, you have proof that you are who you say you are.
Mr. Orenstein, I think what we're going to do, I would just like each panelist just to introduce.
Okay.
We'll get into the.
Okay, I'll bloviate more later.
Yeah, the meat of the matter later on.
Hello, my name is Juan Pagan. I'm running for Congress in the 6th Congressional District. I'm happy to be here. I did prepare a 3-minute statement, and which I think is one of the most concerning issues affecting the sovereignty of our country.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Sophia Worrell.
Name is who?
Sophia Worrell.
Thank you.
And I'm the treasurer of Central Queens Republican Club. And I'm looking forward to debating with our colleagues on the other side, the Democrats.
All right. We're all on the same side.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Weiner. I'm the director of the Central Queens Republican Club. I live in Sunnyside, Queens. I've lived there since 1982. My wife of 40 years is here, Betty Ann. I'm so glad that she's here with me tonight. And just in terms of background, I ran for a position of judge in 2024 on the Republican and conservative lines. They got over 220,000 votes. And it was county-wide, so I was campaigning all across Queens in 2024. I took second. But it was a great chance to meet people from one end of Queens to another, and I'm really looking forward to the debate tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alan Sherman. I've been a Queens resident since 1963. Since a baby. I'm older than that. Anyway. I am a registered Democrat. I've been a Democrat my whole life. I work with many different elected officials, both Democrat and Republican. One thing I like to tell people is it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Just be a good person for all the people. Both parties, which in my mind have turned into party poopers, they're not fun anymore, are nothing more than street gangs. Both Democrats and Republicans. Both of them.
There's good and bad on both sides, and that's where I go around. I will tell a Republican elected official they're wrong. I will also tell a Democrat elected official they're wrong. It's the person that matters, not the street gang. I listen to both sides and I decide what is best for the people, and that's the important thing.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Gottlieb. I'm president of the John F. Kennedy Regular Democratic Club. I'm also president of the Central Queens Historical Association, which is a 501c3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Steve Behar. I'm an attorney. I consider myself a pragmatic Democrat and a progressive capitalist. I've been an attorney for over three decades. I have worked in private practice. I've spent 20 years as a global corporate finance attorney on Wall Street. I've also spent 11 years in government, 3 years at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington, 2 years as counsel in the New York State Senate, and 6 years as counsel in the New York City Council.
Thank you.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to set the rules. Then we'll get into some questions. What was that? No, I'm not going to enforce the rules.
Is it a 12-inch rule?
Don't worry about it.
First of all, no cursing, no insults, no sarcasms, no interruptions while someone is speaking, and no calling out. The tone this evening should be respectful. If you make an accusation, you need to have a reason. Now, each panelist will be allowed to make an opening statement of 3 minutes. Not yet. Still have more. Still have more. All right. Each panelist and audience participant will be allowed, after asking a question, to do a follow-up question in regard to a panelist's specific answer and not ask a new question. Each answer is limited to 2 minutes. All right, so, it's enough said. Let's get to the meat of the matter. I'm going to open up with the first question. I'm going to read, and then we'll see where this is going to go. It has to do with Iran. 1. Iran held 52 American hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran from 1979 for 444 days. Iran was responsible in killing a total of 241 U.S. service members, 220 Marines, 18 Navy sailors, and 3 Army soldiers killed in October 23, 1983, at the Marine Barracks in Lebanon. On October 12, 2000, Iran was behind the attack on the American destroyer USS Cole, where 17 Navy sailors were killed and 17 injured in Yemen. Iran was responsible for killing 46 Americans and taking 12 of them hostage on October 7th in the southern Israel by Iran-backed Hamas. And for 40 years, Iran chants death to America. So here is the question. In light of these actions on February 28, 2026, was the United States justified in attacking Iran along with Israel? They rid the country of the Ayatollah and gave the government back to the people. So the question is, were we justified in doing this? Because technically, we were at war for decades. So who wants to go first? You want to go first, Mr. Orenstein?
Yes, in my opinion, United States is 100% justified in attacking Iran, in the war on Iran, eliminating the Ayatollah, and with the goal of implementing actually peace in the region through ridding Iran of its nuclear capabilities, its ballistic missile capabilities. Every president since Ronald Reagan has been condemning Iran as the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world. And every president since Bill Clinton has been saying that Iran can never have nukes. Even Hillary Clinton was campaigning on that issue and threatened to take, use military force if she had to eliminate the threat of Iran having nukes. Now, I've read, we've all been seeing the media reports about, the objections to the war, and I imagine some of the panelists here have, objections and don't feel it's justified. The excuses are that, the reasons are that it's not an imminent threat, it's a war of choice, it's Israel's war. Now, I do believe it's a war of choice. It's a choice between policies. So this is not an argument about politics, it's an argument about policy. And the Democrats have had a policy of appeasement since Biden and Obama starting, say, with Syria, who drew the line in the sand, the red line in the sand, that Syria, should not use chemical weapons, and he did nothing. This showed America as a paper tiger. The Biden's disastrous pullout from Afghanistan showed, and non-action in Crimea when Russia attacked Crimea, and numerous other engagements around the world showed America is a paper tiger. This was, these were policies of appeasement. The Iran deal, to unfreeze their financial assets, giving them billions of dollars, eliminating the sanctions on Iran in order to give them, buy extra time to still achieve nuclear capabilities. They still would have nukes, but
Thank you, Mr. Orenstein.
the belief was that they would moderate themselves, which didn't happen.
Thank you.
Do I have another minute?
No.
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 He's going to hold up the matzah, his time is up.
Was that what that is?
Roll the matzah, that's good.
Okay. All right, on the other side, who wants to speak first?
Can we start?
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes. Okay, great. So, first of all, from a constitutional standpoint, the war in Iraq is unconstitutional. When the Founding Fathers put our Constitution together, they believed that only Congress can declare war. And why did they do that? They did that because the Founding Fathers believed that the power to declare war should not be in the hands of just one man. And the power to declare war should be done by the people's representatives, because they're the ones that are going to send their neighbors to war and fight and die. So first of all, the whole premise of this war is unconstitutional. It's also totally not planned for. A seventh grader, if you gave a seventh grader a map of Iran and said, if you're gonna attack them, what do you have to do? A 7th grader would look at the map and see the Straits of Hormuz, which is 2 miles long, and say, you gotta protect that. We went in there, bombed the crap out of them, but we left the strait. And now, 20% of the world's oil, 30% of the world's natural gas, and 35% of fertilizer can't get out. It's unbelievable that people in Washington, a president, a secretary of defense, didn't think this through. Now, as far as nuclear weapons goes, President Obama had solved this problem. 1 minute?
No.
I can't give Mike Obama's?
No, you can't.
All right.
No. We'll come back to it later. We'll come back to it later. You want to make a rebuttal?
Yeah, I want to make a little rebuttal to that, if I may, that since World War II, there's never been a declaration of war. The president is commander-in-chief, whether it was Obama or Clinton or Reagan or any other president, each had military actions. This is a military action in Iran, which is necessary to eliminate the threat, because every president has promised that they would not allow Iran to have nukes. No one acted on it except President Trump, and he in fact did consult with Congress, and it has to be, of course, top secret. There's a lot we don't know about. Iran is closer than ever to achieving nuclear capabilities, to having a bomb, than ever before. And this was what they told to Steve Witkoff during the negotiations, that Iran has a big stockpile of 60% enriched uranium. In 1 week or 2 weeks, they can bring it up to 90% to make 10 bombs. The IAEA IAEA confirmed this.
Thank you.
That they can make 10 bombs.
Thank you. All right.
After the disastrous Biden administration, which allowed so many illegal immigrants to come across our borders and to cause such chaos in many respects, many cities, the Trump administration came in and cut off that immigration into the areas. We also have the Trump administration coming in and doing a good thing in Venezuela, taking over the country there, removing an evil person as a leader, and they have done that. Now he has also warned Western Europe, we're not going to defend you all the time. You have to defend yourself. Now he's come to Iran.
Excuse me. I think we got a little off point.
Iran.
We'll get to the open borders in a moment.
Okay. Are we right in invading, doing what we're doing?
Excuse me. We'll get to it. All right. Well, let's just keep it about Iran at the moment.
I feel as a loyal Democrat that what Trump did in Iran is proper. If you read the War Powers Act, which came about in 1973, he had to contact Congress within 48 hours. He did that. Then he has 60 to 90 days for his battle. He would need to get Congress's approval to extend it past 60 to 90 days. That is coming up soon, and we'll see what happens. But until then, what Trump did is legal and necessary.
Okay. I also think, at least this is what we heard on the news, that yes, Trump did have legal rights to do this. He did. Because we could actually go back to the Korean War. We could go, because that was never declared a war. We could go back to Vietnam, same thing. But in this case, I think what the United States, what we were concerned with, is that since President Trump is the commander-in-chief, what he was concerned with about leaking information. So on his own as the commander-in-chief, he decided to do this. Now, at the same time, we're saying that it should, I'll let you go in a second, that he should have gone to Congress. But again, as commander-in-chief, he decided on his own to take care of this action.
But that's exactly the point, is that that's not what the Constitution and the Founding Fathers designed our Constitution to. And the War Powers Act, frankly, I've always believed is unconstitutional. But I'll leave that out there. But even the War Powers, though, Act requires an imminent threat. And 6-8 months before, Trump told us he obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. And then he's saying, well, it was an imminent threat, they were going to have a nuclear bomb in a week. So what is it? Did we obliterate their nuclear weapons? Because if we did, then it's certainly not an imminent threat. So which one was he lying on? I'm not sure.
That's where eventually we'll find out. Now, does anybody in the audience have something, would like to say something about what we're talking about now?
Microphone? Between in that 6-month period of time.
Let's get a microphone. Yeah. We'll get a mic.
To my understanding of what was in the news.
We're going to keep it, stay here, sir.
Okay.
We're going to keep it short though, please.
Yeah, good.
Go ahead.
In the last 6 months, China and Russia were aiding Iran in missiles and other war elements to gear up and attack. To our understanding, as far as only Americans are concerned, we understood that we only had a matter of maybe a month before they were able to attack other countries. They already had missiles that were able to launch at long distances, and they could have done a lot of problems. And that's their goal, because that is the goal of that particular mindset, that the Islamic movement is about taking over, just the way as we're experiencing it all over the world right now. The world is becoming in a state of chaos because of it.
Thank you. Come on up.
I'm just going to read a quote from Joe Kent. Joe Kent was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He said, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and DNI Gabbard leading the press on the NCT. May God bless America."
I'm going to stop you for a moment. How does he know what went on behind closed doors?
He's the director of National Counterterrorism Center.
He just quit yesterday. He was the #1 Iran expert in the Trump administration. Most of the Iranian experts in the Trump government were thrown out by Elon Musk in the Doge program. So we don't have a lot of Iran experts there. The quote that he gave you was from Mr. Kent, who quit yesterday. He was the #1 Iran expert in the Pentagon. So that was a quote from the top Iranian guy.
All right, let's get the microphone over here. So the gentleman?
Hello? I just came in a little bit late, but just 3 things. Number one, Obama, along with the EU, China, Russia, I think it was France, Germany, had an agreement with Iran, and Trump ripped that up. So, when he was at first term. Second, maybe the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the military that met with Trump, maybe they did advise him against attacking Iran, and maybe Trump said, well, I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyway. And the third thing is, currently Iran's missiles have a range of 1,200 miles, so they can't, they could hit parts of Western Europe and elsewhere, they could hit Israel and other places, they have 1,200 miles. In the future, in 10 years from now, they could develop an intercontinental ballistic missile, which could fly halfway or completely around the world, but as of now, they don't have that, so.
As many of you don't remember, after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, did go before Congress, and he did ask for permission to declare war on the Empire of Japan, which would happen. But since that time, and even before, presidents have gone out of their way to ignore Congress, and they've gone on their own. Thank you.
Thank you. For the last 20 years, that's been happening.
Go ahead.
So our moderators spent about 2 minutes going over all the attacks on Americans, whether abroad or here. And then he asked one question, was it justified? So I don't know what constitutes imminent threat when you've had Iran doing all of these things for all these years. Must they come right now and just attack us on the soil? Can America be at some point more proactive? And the last time I checked, over 77 million people or more voted for President Trump. Not a gentleman who resigned, whoever his name is, we didn't vote for him. We put our trust in President Trump as the commander-in-chief. He's not an ordinary person sitting in a room. He has to depend on military. He has to depend on cabinet. This is not a decision that he just makes out of the ether. And it's amazing how Democrats always pull Constitution, but don't go directly to what is in that Constitution and what it says. But anyhow, going back, President Trump is not making a decision in the ether. He has a cabinet, he has a military, and he has a decision to make. And if I look at how he has done his work for the last couple of years, he doesn't want to start a war. Everyone is calling this a war. I see it as an operation. It is not 4 years, it's not 20 years, it's just a couple of weeks, and sometimes we need to just take a little breather and just really see what happens. Let's talk about it in a year, just like tariffs and everything. In the next month, this is going to be ended and we have no more discussions. 77 million people, as many more, put their trust in the decision that he's going to make. And we watched the operations that he's done time and time and time again. They were short, they were swift. Every operation is different. Sometimes it can be speedily, in one night, in a couple of hours, and sometimes it takes a couple of weeks. I can bet you by next month, this is ended. And it is constitutional. This is his right as commander-in-chief.
The first thing he said was really, really important. He said, Obama had negotiated a treaty with Iran that they wouldn't have a nuclear weapon for 20 years. Now, Republicans complained that they were kicking the can down the road. But you know what? He was. And he did that for a reason. Does anybody want to guess what the average age of Iranians are, the average age of the people in Iran? It's 32 years old. The average age of an Iranian is 32 years old. If you go to Tehran, young people are at restaurants, they're at coffee shops, they're out in the street, they're looking to the West. Yet Iran was run by 80 and 90-year-old men who are radicals. So Obama's logic was, we're going to make sure they don't get a missile that can have a nuclear weapon for 20 years. And in 20 years, those 80 and 90-year-olds will be gone. And those 32-year-olds will be in their 50s running the government. So we were kicking the can, and we ensured there was there was inspections. They would not have had a nuclear weapon for 20 years. But Trump came in there and ripped it up. And the reason he ripped it up, frankly, was because Obama signed it. Because he ripped it up and then he went back to Iran and said, well, sign it again. And they said no. So he's caused this mess. It was fixed. And one last thing about the preparedness, as I said before, remember when we went to Afghanistan? We were there for 20 years. Remember when we went to Iraq? We were there for 20 years. They said the same thing. Rumsfeld said, oh, we'll be out in a week. It doesn't happen like that. And now what you did was, instead of having, in 20 years, this new population taking over, looking to the West, being more progressive, not in the progressive that we talk about here, but progressive as far as, looking to the West and freedoms. Instead, you killed an 86-year-old Ayatollah, and you replaced him with a 55-year-old Ayatollah. That wasn't a good idea. And we're going to pay for this.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't been heard on this. I really didn't want to get into this one. But I'll just say, in response to some of the things that were just said, it was about maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that millions of Iranians were up in the streets trying to change their government, protesting that they're starving there, that all the money from Iran was diverted to military programs with Hezbollah, the Houthis, with Hamas, and Iran was shipping money around the world for what? For guns, for killing people, including Americans who were taken hostage in Israel. Those were Americans, okay? And that happened, with the money funding and the support of Iran, ultimately. And what happened to these people who were out in the streets, the reports are 30,000 of them were killed. I spoke to a friend who has family in Iran. He said what they do is when they kill somebody in the streets, 30,000 people, if the family wants the body back, they have to pay for the bullets. Okay? That's the type of people they are. These are the people who we think were going to follow through with the deal with Obama. People who would shoot people in the streets and say your family has to pay for the bullets. These are the people we're depending and trusting on. That's not a sufficient foundation for the future of this country. I would just agree with what's your name? Sophia, I thought was brilliant in that I just wanted to say, look, I expect the president to make these calls. I don't really feel qualified to say this was justified, but I think that we picked a man to be our president of the United States, and he doesn't do random stuff. That's a fantasy, that Trump wakes up one day and says, let's have a war. He was negotiating with Iran. He said, make a deal with me that you will give up nuclear, your ambitions of nuclear weapons forever. He went in with that mission. It turned out that didn't clean out the problem. Okay? They did their best. We blew up an underground, fortified, hidden facility. We're supposed to rely on Obama when they have facilities built underneath the ground so nobody can find them? How could Obama know about that? Nobody knew about that. But the U.S. intelligence knew, and a special mission took it out. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. They were rebuilding, and they were laughing, and we saying, we're going to do it again.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you. I think I would like to change the subject at this moment.
Can I just mention something about Iran?
No, actually. Okay, 30 seconds, quickly, go. I'll cut you
I'll
off.
try to make this 30 seconds. The whole point is the policy of appeasement. Biden and Obama were appeasers of Iran. Appeasement has been shown throughout history to have failed and caused more war than they were trying to prevent. World War II started because of Neville Chamberlain said peace in our time with the Munich Agreement, which failed, and Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia and then started World War II.
Okay.
Appeasement fails.
Thank you.
Trump is proving he's a president of peace through strength.
Thank you. Changing the subject, we're going to discuss borders. So this question is for the Democrats. Are open borders good or bad, and why? For the Democrats, are open borders good or bad, And why? Well, we know, you'll get a chance. This is for the Democrats. Are open borders good or bad?
Open borders are bad, and we've never had open borders. And this is the misnomer. We've had.
Wait, excuse me. Let him speak. Let him speak. That's part of the rules. Let him speak. Whoever wants to say something, when he's through, you could raise your hand, and I will call on you. I'm sorry.
We've had problems at the borders now for nearly 50 years. And neither side has fixed it. I think the Democrats have tried more. I think the Republicans over time wanted to keep the issue open because it's the issue that they keep running on. But open borders are not good. But at the same time, if you look over the last several years under Biden, there was a surge. There was a surge at the border. We all saw it. There was reasons why. There was one, because we had COVID and no one was coming across the border. And two, because after COVID, our economy took off much faster than the rest of the world, so people were coming here. I don't think that we, as a country, put enough effort and funds when that surge came. But by the time Biden left, the numbers that were coming over the border were the same as they were under Trump before COVID. So this idea that Biden came in and opened the borders is just not true.
I'm going to stop you for a moment.
Yes,
I'm going to
go
stop
ahead.
you for a minute. Then why did Mayorkas in front of Congress say our borders are closed? Why do you do that?
Our borders were as closed as they were for the last 50 years.
No, we're talking recently. When the surge was coming in, Mayorkas went in front of Congress and they asked, are our borders closed, open? He said they're closed. When the media showed they're coming over the border.
Being closed doesn't mean people aren't going to get through. That was the problem. And there was a bipartisan, not a Democratic, there was a bipartisan bill that was going to put the funds to enforce the border. It was going to put the funds to increase the lawyers and the judges to get these people processed a lot faster when they came through for asylum claims. And what happened? Now, by the way, it was Senator Langford. It was his bill. He's a Republican, a conservative as you could get Republican from Oklahoma. And what happened? Trump killed the bill. And why did he kill it? And he told the bipartisan Republicans that were going to support it, he said, kill it, because it's a year and a half before the election, and I don't want Biden to get a win.
Okay.
So he left the borders open, or he left the people coming through on purpose.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody want to comment? Raise your hand. This gentleman over here. You could come up if you'd like. Give him a microphone.
Thank you.
Got it. 2 minutes.
Thank you, I'll keep it short. Mr. Behar, I'm in accord with you when you say that the Democrats have tried the most. I think that the Democrats have tried the most, and that's the problem. The Democrats have always tried the most, but they fail, where Republicans actually do, right? For 46 years, I've been a Democrat, and like I said before when I spoke, in 2020, when we had the House, the Senate, and the auto pen, if we couldn't get stuff done then, we're definitely not gonna get it now.
What did the Republicans do in that 40 years for the border? When we talk about the border, so what did they do?
Well, in Trump's first administration, he secured the border.
But Biden, at the end of Biden's term, there was the same amount coming over. So that doesn't make sense.
But not the same amount of fentanyl or drugs or human
Fentanyl
trafficking.
doesn't, that's another misnomer. The fentanyl that comes into the States isn't coming from the southern border.
Thank you.
It's coming from China, and it's coming mostly on ships. It's not coming, the idea, it's like 0.02% of the fentanyl that came into the United States came through the southern border. It's a misnomer. If you want to stop this fentanyl, go to the ships out in LA, because that's where they're coming in. And by the way, do you know who the last, in a way you're right, because the last president who did comprehensive immigration reform, you know who that was? Reagan, 1986. Nobody's done it. Nobody's done it since 1986.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to fentanyl. According to Ambassador Robert O'Brien, in the Trump administration, in a similar period, there have been 20,000 fewer fentanyl deaths of Americans. That's 20,000 people alive because Donald Trump became president. Now, how did he do it? Well, first of all, he closed the border shut. The border was never closed under President Biden. Secondly, you may remember the controversy over President Trump bombing ships loaded with drugs coming to the United States on international waters. And no other president ever really cared. You know, we had all these presidents talking about wars on drugs, but never did we have a president who would take a ship loaded with drugs to kill poor, addicted people. Our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, none of them bothered to blow the ships out of the water until Donald Trump did that. And thank God he did. There are 20,000 people living. On those amnesty bills, okay, I guess that's the time. I just say there was a lot of amnesty in those bills. They weren't, the way they're characterized is they were just bipartisan bills. There were Republicans who wanted people coming across the border too. They're in the pocket of big corporations. Yes.
We sort of went off track a little bit because the question was, are open borders good or bad? So.
Bad, very bad. I live 4 blocks away from the Creedmoor illegal migrant tent city, which decimated our neighborhood. I have firsthand experience. I've talked to some of them, 100 illegal aliens from North Africa, from Mauritania, from the countries in North Africa. They're just laughing at us because they say asylum, asylum, and hop over the border. They're not really asylum seekers. They were given a wide open border and an invitation by Biden, Mayorkas, and other Democrats to come over the border. They were given the red carpet, and we have to pay for their free food, free housing, free health care, free bus transportation, while they laugh at us. And President Trump, God bless him, he stopped it. He did the right thing. And they're not real asylum seekers. The real asylum seekers was the Iranian team in the Olympics who could not go back to Iran because they'd be murdered or their family would be murdered.
All right,
so they had to go back anyway.
The question was, is open borders bad or good? Extremely bad. Assistant U.S. Attorney General Harlan Dillon, up to this date, right now, has found hundreds of thousands of non-citizens on voter rolls throughout our nation, and tens of thousands of American citizens on voter rolls that are dead. Okay? Then the millions of illegal aliens in our country will also disrupt what's called congressional apportionment, the process by which that determines the number of House seats, congressional seats, assigned to each state based on the population of each state. Now, Biden-Harris, they took advantage of the fact, which is a law that must be changed through Congress, the fact that the U.S. Census counts all persons living in the United States, regardless of their citizenship or legal immigration status, all right? As far as I'm concerned, Biden-Harris committed treason. Treason is the crime of betraying one's own country to overthrow the government.
Thank you. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. So I want to read a definition because sometimes it's good to understand what we're talking about. An open border is a system where people can move freely between countries or regions with little or no restrictions, meaning no visas, minimal checkpoints, and often no need for passports. So I listened to my Democrat panelists, and the question is it good or bad? I'm an immigrant to this country. It is not just bad, it's very bad, and it's terrible. People who were born in this country, okay? For me who came here, you paid nothing to be here. I gave a talk a couple weeks ago. You paid nothing to be in this country. I had to pay thousands of dollars to be here, to come here. And I'm not mad because I'm not American born. A system of open borders say that anyone can just walk in here anytime, anyhow, anywhere. So it is not fair to American born people, and it's not fair to immigrants who have to pay. You have a system that works. You have to use a passport, a visa. You don't just get to walk into any country, whether it's America or any country. It is not just bad, it is terrible. There's rules, there's regulations, and we have to follow them. And sometimes, you know, the way you speak is just so callous. People can just come over for whatever reason. No, America has a system, and we need to get back to that system. A system of law and a system of order. Open borders is terrible. There's a way to come into every country, and we have to go back to that. Not just walking willy-nilly, because it causes problems.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have anything else on open borders and closed borders? You do? We have that.
That's it.
Yeah. I think open borders are horrible. They're absolutely horrible. Where are all these children that are lost? 350,000 of them? How many of these young girls were raped? Yeah. You didn't vet them. We let in these criminals and sex traffickers who abused, and they abused all these young girls, and they're like sex slaves or something. They have to find these kids and young children, little kids that were abandoned by their parents, and they make believe that some crazy guy holds this little kid and says, I'm his father. And he's not.
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for the
Thank you. Anybody else on open borders? Come in, sir. 3 minutes.
A few seconds. If we want to have a country, we need the borders. If we don't have the borders, we don't have a country. Whoa. And it's simple like that. If you want to have rules in a country, if you want to have justice and not chaos, you have to perceive the rules. You cannot allow one group to exist from the citizen. You know, people come over here working very hard, and they give something to this country. But those who right now, like, who are coming over here, they expect everything. Beautiful rooms in hotels, welfare, even driving license, everything for free. Everything for free. What is mean? It is demoralizing people. It's not helping to develop people, it's degrading people. But so if American looking at them, they'll say, do I am stupid? Maybe I should do something stupid against this country. Maybe I should don't go with the rules, go like under the rules, create something locus. That's how we becoming not country anymore.
Thank you.
It's broken nation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
2 more? Can you come over here, please?
I agree pretty much with what everybody has been saying here up so far, but we have to not forget all the terrorists that have arrived. And there are terrorists in every state.
Yes.
They have people set up and they have a strategy. From my understanding, our government is aware of where much of it is, and they're trying to suss it out and eliminate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
One more? You-
Well, what I wanted to say,
Go ahead.
pretty loud enough, that it's also devastating on other countries as well. I think people migrate from, many of them come from south of the border, and they come up to other countries. The women get raped. There's rape trees with the panties all over the trees to let them know what happened, and so they can commemorate their shame. People die along the way, just for the money that's being thrown at these people. So there's quite some beautiful parts I've seen of Colombia that has been trashed, full of human waste, bodies littered all over the place. And that's in Colombia as they make their way across several countries just to get here, lured by Biden, Mayorkas, and the whole crew to come here for pipe treaty to replace Americans. Take the jobs, and so that Democrats can get votes.
Yes. Open borders is horrendous, murderous, and just plain evil. Yes.
If you read the newspapers, you would think that everyone who came across that southern border was either a criminal or a wastrel or someone of pervert status. Isn't true. I go along Jamaica Avenue in Jamaica, and I see these people, and they're working. They're dishwashers. They clean the streets. They do the best they can, and they send money south. So you can't say that these people are all bad. I read the Post also, but I would say to you, give them a break.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. All right, I'm gonna stop you for a moment. You know, we're all talking. Hold on. What's happening here? What's happening is this. We are a country of laws.
Yes.
So I know both sides are passionate about borders, but at the same time, people are breaking the law. That's the bottom line as well. But I think at this point, I want to move on to another subject, which brings me, pardon me?
Can I, you want to say one more? Yeah, we should move on.
All right, we're good.
It's almost 9.
Yeah.
One second, sorry.
All right, you know what? We're going to move on because the next, wait, hold on. No, we're gonna let it go. The next subject,
All right, I'll just make it quick. All right, just, most immigrants that come here illegally or whatever, they're not criminals or drug dealers.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Because we just had a discussion about open and closed borders. What did you just say?
I said they're not, they come here to work and.
Stop right there.
That have gangs.
Can I have 30
Stop
seconds?
right there.
Can I have 30 seconds? 30 seconds.
They
30
came over
seconds.
illegal.
30 seconds. What an insult to immigrants. This is an insult to immigrants. I'm an immigrant. Okay? I'm an immigrant. Let me talk for immigrants. When we leave our country, we come for something better. Okay? And anytime you ask immigrants something, we come for something better.
That's what I said.
Let me finish. I have 30 seconds. But when you are going to another country, there's a wrong way and a right way to do stuff. And that's the bottom line. It is an insult to immigrants to say that we can just walk into a country. And it's an insult to immigrants who want to contribute. We want to do it the right way. Don't encourage Don't encourage anyone to come here the wrong way. There's a right way. Through a port of entry, with a passport, with a visa, that's it. That's my
Thank you.
first
Which brings me
Well,
to, no,
that's it.
no, we're gonna move
That's
on to another subject that has to do with open borders and closed borders. The subject is this. The subject is this. Should voters, should everyone, you go into a bank and make a deposit. The teller says, "Can I have some ID, please?" Okay, no, I give the teller my driver's license. Should voters, to vote, should we have an ID to vote? That is the question for Republicans and the Democrats. Who's first? Okay.
Very quick, you know, I'm really grateful to the city of New York because I passed 65 and I waited a year because I didn't really rush to do it. But I got something here called an Omni card, and that means I get a half price to get on the subway or a bus, and I use it. I'm really grateful for it. The way I got it about a week ago was I went to the teller and I gave him my driver's license. They weren't going to give me the Omni card without the driver's license, but I could vote without any ID, and I could say I represent that I'm so-and-so or anything like that. Now, I'll also say, you know, my experience is that I was the president of the New York City Board of Elections in 1999. I'm sure that we could handle dealing with a future where there is some proof of citizenship requirement for this voter ID. We can do it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the other side. Go ahead.
I feel there's nothing wrong with voter ID or any ID. This is America. Voting is for Americans. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, like I always say, we're Americans, show your ID.
Yes.
The problem is that this isn't a voter ID law. This is a voter suppression law.
We'll get there. Hold on. We'll get there. Wait, 1 second. You'll speak, then, hold on. You're gonna get there. I'll get to everyone. We'll get to everyone. Go ahead.
What's in the bill? Tell me, let's, from the audience, tell us what's in this bill.
I'll tell you exactly what's in the bill.
Because you know what? You don't even know what's in it.
I'll tell you exactly.
He says he knows it. What's in that bill?
Okay, voter ID, all right, when you go to vote. You need a picture ID. That's a
No.
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 Say that calls for photo ID when you go to vote. All right? The second issue is that when all new registrants, not everybody that's been voted, all new registrants have to show proof in person that they are a citizen of the United States. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, the voter rolls, which is the main problem with everything, have to be clean.
Yes.
We have 16 votes. The Civil Rights Division has put out to every state that they will go through their voter rolls and take off all the dead people, take people that moved out of state.
Yes.
They will take off anybody that is illegal. They will run it through 13 different federal agencies to make those determinations. Now we will have clean voter rolls. So you hear the arguments that come out that women ain't gonna be able to vote. They're gonna have to go out and get their marriage certificate, birth certificate, and so forth. Read the bill. You said nobody reads the bill.
I did read the bill.
No, you didn't, because
Yes, I did.
obviously you didn't know this.
No, I tell here. You're partially right. But
I'm not partially. I'm 100% right.
Here's what you're going to do to register to vote under this new law. You're going to need one of 2 things to register to vote.
What's that?
You're either going to need a passport, or you're going to need a birth certificate with your name on it.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
let's think about that for a second. Less than half of the United States has a passport. Less than half.
Okay.
Okay? So for people to register to vote, they're going to have to go out and spend $186 That's no. Let me. You have me talk.
No, I'm not going to sit down because you're telling
You know
lies.
what? Yeah. Can I finish? I didn't interrupt you. So you have to go. So if you want to register to vote, you'll need to get a passport. You'll have to. It'll take 4 to 6 weeks to get it. It'll cost you $186. Less than half of Americans have a passport.
Okay.
Most of the people who don't have passports are low income because they're not traveling internationally. So basically you're telling these people you have to go and spend $186 and wait 4 to 6 weeks before you can register to vote. Or you can have a birth certificate. Now,
No, some people don't.
well, first of all, I don't have my birth certificate. But let me finish. I don't have my birth certificate. All right. Also, it has to have your name, so that if you're a woman and you got married and your birth certificate still has your old name, you can't use it. I'm talking, lady. I'm talking. All right. I'm talking. You can speak.
All right. Okay.
So what it's doing is it's making it more difficult for lower income people to register and vote.
All right.
Why?
Okay.
Because let me finish this. Why? Because the lower income people tend to vote Democrat. And it's also making it more difficult for women to vote, and women overall vote more Democratic. It's a voter suppression law. And by the way, and one more thing, this idea that there's all this illegal voting going on, the Heritage Foundation, the Heritage Foundation surveyed over 1 billion votes. 1 billion votes. This is the Heritage Foundation. Don't tell me like liberal media, right? They found 77. This is over 30 years. 77 cases of non-citizens casting a vote. 10 cases of those were undocumented. Donald Trump has more felony convictions than there's been felony convictions for people voting illegally.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Orenstein.
Okay, my turn now. Who has an enhanced driver's license? I think everybody went through it. I just went through it. Whether you're young or old,
you can't use it, Phil. You can't use it.
You can get an enhanced driver's license.
You can't use it to register to vote.
ID.
You can't use it to register to vote. Real ID doesn't work to register. Birth certificate, passport, 2 things only.
All right, listen.
But more than that, Chuck Schumer, your idol, in the state senate, in the federal senate, said that you need an ID everywhere you go. He said this is an anti-fraud measure. Chuck Schumer said that. Now he's saying it's Jim Crow too. We know he's a hypocrite, but it's an anti-fraud measure because we know that many of these illegals who have crossed our border are able to vote now.
That's false.
It's
false.
No.
Where are the cases? Where are the people in jail? It's false, Bill. You're making stuff up. You're making stuff up, Bill.
Excuse me, I'm talking. There was I'll lower the volume. There was election integrity expert in Pennsylvania who reported that the Pennsylvania said that they admitted that there was a glitch in their system of their voter applications, and they registered 100,000 non-citizens to vote. This is just one example of the fraud that's going on, which can be prevented.
It's false. It's made up.
No, it's not. Look it up.
Cato Institute and the Heritage Foundation both say you're wrong. And they're not on my side, right? The Heritage Foundation and Cato Institute. Both of them say you're completely wrong.
Okay. Hold on. Who said that? Somebody said I didn't come here to listen to this. What do you want to hear?
I just feel like he's dominating everything. I didn't come here just to listen.
You need to not let him
Okay. All right. That's true. All right.
Raise the truth.
So, did we have enough on voter ID? Okay. All right.
I'd like to respond.
You still want to? All right. You know, I said earlier, we really don't want to have any yelling. We have to be kind to one another. So, go ahead. Yeah, you too.
I would like the Democrats to be reminded that you were the ones who suppressed votes for the minority. The Republicans were the ones who granted black people the right to vote, the right to own property. The Republicans opposed the KKK that your party founded. The Republicans were the ones who opposed the Jim Crow law that the Democrats enacted. So you are so hypocrites claiming that the Republicans want to suppress the vote when you were the one who suppressed the vote because you opposed black people the right to vote. Read your history.
That was 100 years ago.
170
Okay,
years ago.
I'm sorry.
My name is Mike Seidel, and I can speak from the inside. I am a coordinator for the Board of Elections. If you come, if they do change it to ID, because you cannot use your voter card that they send you as ID, because it has no picture. But something as simple, more than 50% of the population is seniors like myself. Your Omni card will do, your non-driver's license that you get for no charge after a certain age. So there are other ways of doing it, because I run a tight ship, as people know. Those two will tell you. And my people have caught people trying to pose as other people or as dead people. So it's not Trump, Biden. Stop this nonsense of fighting. We all have to work together. But ID is simple. I don't have a passport. I never had a passport. But when I go into the pharmacy for my controlled substance, I got to show my picture ID, and that's sufficient.
Which is what? Which is what?
What?
What is your picture ID?
This is simply my ARP, accessorized Omni card. I get on the bus and accessorized, and this is sufficient for them. It has my name.
So you're saying anybody with an Omni card can vote?
That what?
Are you saying that anybody that has an Omni card, they
He's
can?
giving an example.
It works in the pharmacy.
Well, we know
It
that.
works.
The question is registration.
No,
The question is registration. And here's,
What?
What is proving that you are a United States citizen? That's really the question here.
Well,
What is that? Now,
that's another.
Now, does it? How many people here, by the show of hands, have a birth certificate?
Well, I have grandparents who came over on the yellow sheet.
But that's not what.
That was legal. That's what you do.
So.
it's estimated that
Can I have
21
30 seconds
to
again?
25
30
million
seconds.
Americans
30 seconds.
don't have the passport or the birth certificate. 21 to 25 million Americans. You get that? And let me tell you, I'll tell you a quick thing. My father passed away 6 years ago. He was almost 95 years old. He was a World War II veteran. He was a war hero. He fought the Nazis in Germany and France. When my mother died, my father moved back to New York. If this law, if this law was in effect, when my father, the war hero, 92 years old, moved back to New York, he wouldn't have been able to register to vote because he didn't have a passport and he didn't have his birth certificate. It was 92 years old. He didn't have it. He wouldn't have been able to register to vote.
All right. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Sir, this woman has been waiting for a while to speak. And everybody's
Who did I
taking
miss?
time except her.
Okay, 30 seconds or less.
All right, wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you.
You needed 3 forms of ID to freaking shovel snow for the city.
Yes.
Thank you. Very, very good point.
Voting is a right.
All right,
So
wait.
30 seconds or less.
Voting is a right, but you should have
Go ahead.
people.
All right.
Just want to
This is a solution
All
looking
right.
for a problem.
Okay.
Okay, and so
30. Go ahead.
I might be in a minute. So I had an issue, I don't remember what it was, and I wish I could remember. So I didn't have my son's birth, I think I didn't have it. And I had to send back to Barbados because I didn't have it, his birth certificate. And I sent the letter back to Barbados, and I said, wait, by the way, can I also get my birth certificate? And so I sent that letter back to our registry in Barbados, and I got it sent to me, my son's birth certificate and mine. I thought I would have to catch a plane, thousands of dollars to go and get it. It came in the mail. I probably paid a couple of dollars.
40 seconds.
So the thing is, I want to say to my Democrat friends, is simply this. What is voting? Is it a right or a privilege? If you cannot take the time to get your documents for something as important as voting for the President of the United States, Congress, whatever, should you be able to vote?
Okay.
It is a privilege. And I want to just
It's a
say
right.
this.
It's in the Constitution.
Let me just finish. One of the beautiful things that I heard going through the immigration process that took me 16 years was that I would have the privilege of voting in these elections. And I have my passport and I have my identification. And I proudly carry it to the voting booth because it's a privilege. And if I didn't take that time to do that, and if you don't take that time to do that, you don't have the right to vote. That's it.
Thank you. All right, okay, one second. I'll get there. We have a lot of people in the audience that want to say something. Hold on. Let me see. Who didn't speak that want to? Go ahead.
Can I get the mic?
Mike,
Here I am.
Mike here? Is Mike here?
Wow, what an energetic audience. All right, I'm going to argue on the side of Steve because, I'm a Republican, but I think I'd be an excellent Democrat. When you go to register to vote, you are required to put your ID number on your license plate or your social security number. And when you go to vote for the first time, you're required to show that you live there, and oftentimes the form of identification that people commonly go to is a New York State ID. And when you go to vote, they register that signature. So Mike here mentioned that some people try to pose that they're dead. They match the signature from years back. So when they catch that, and if we run a tight ship, like Mike does, and thank you, Mike, for your service. I also worked at Board of Elections myself, in poll work. They will catch that, and they will deny you the right to vote. So I think the system we have is sufficient enough. So it is sufficient.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It works. Yeah.
No, it doesn't work, because you don't.
Well, you're saying that, but it works.
Anyone can get a birth certificate online in 2 weeks. Online in 2 weeks to get a birth certificate.
Yeah. I said about home for mine, I got it. There's no excuse.
Or you count. You could just say, go ahead.
Thank you. I think this topic is very important because it touches base on one of my platform policies, and something that I want to change when I get into Congress, as we talk about voter suppression, is what I'm facing right now. I'm in a district that has 200,000 registered Democrats to 30,000 registered Republicans. I know the shitstorm that I'm getting into. I know the fight that I picked, right? But the standards remain the same, even though there's a huge discrepancy in those numbers. One thing I want to fix, and that's going to correct and also encourage voter participation, is to stop this is to keep it nonpartisan. I feel that anybody should be able to sign a petition, no matter what party you're in, and also voting in a primary. This is what's keeping people from wanting to participate in voting. This is what's suppressing us. And like our sister said, that's why they're replacing Democratic voters with migrants, right? So this is something that I want to do when I get into office. I want to make it so that you can sign whichever petition you want to, because regardless of fact, you're going to be affected by that person's policies. Whoever gets elected, whether whatever party you're a part of. So that's what I want to change. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I've been told that we have about 15 minutes left, so we're going to, unless you want to be here till 3 in the morning. So this will be the last subject for the, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. This will be the last question of the evening, because I was told we have, what, until 9:30? Is that true? Is that true? Okay. No, we have until 9:30. So here is the last question for the Democrats and the Republicans. What would you like to see President Trump do during his term of office, and what would you like President Trump to undo? Undo. So I'll read the question again to both parties. What would you like to see President Trump do during his term in office, and what would you like the President Trump to undo?
I want to go first.
You want to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to keep it simple as an immigrant. I want mass deportations and I want denaturalization. That's it.
Okay.
Mass deportation and denaturalization. That's what I want.
That's what you.
That's it.
Anybody else on this side?
That's it.
What I'd like to see is, under the administration of President Trump, the termination of the experimental COVID vaccine approvals that weren't science-based, and also, so that would be undo. And what I'd like to see him do is, I'd like to see him eliminate the property tax on residences that, well, increase the exemptions for the property tax when the sale of a home happens. They were passed in 27 years ago. They were fixed at a fixed amount of $500,000 or $250,000. If it's a couple, it's $500,000. If it's a single, it's $250,000. They were never indexed for inflation. So there are a lot of people who they call them house poor, who have a home that inflation makes look like a lot of money, and they're going to be paying capital gains taxes basically based on inflation, not based on any real increase in the value of their homes, and that's the biggest asset they have, and it would be an act of justice. Everything else is indexed to inflation, except the exemptions on the sale of a residence. Those have not been increased in 27 years.
All right, thank you. How about the other side?
What I think he should do and undo are very simple. Bring us back to the days when people had to go into the office to work. Give companies tax incentives to make sure their employees are there 5 days a week. I have seen too many young people with no social skills. They don't know what it is to talk to people. All they do is sit on their phones all day or sit on their computers. They don't know how to interact with people. We must have laws governing companies enforcing 5 days a week in office. Simple, not drastic, but very important.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to go ahead?
I'd like to see the president close off the southern border completely. He has done it and continue to do so. I would like to also see the president tell Western European nations, build up your armaments, because we can't be all over the world. That's what I'd like to see.
Okay.
I'd like to see the president follow the Constitution. The executive orders are not the law. The founding fathers established us to have a government with separation of powers, where to pass a law, the law has to be passed by the House and the Senate and signed by the president, not fiat signature from the president. I'd like him, as far as following the Constitution, to allow people to have free speech.
All right, thank you.
I have to tell what I want to undo, right?
Oh.
And I'd like him to follow freedom of the press and freedom of speech. What I'd like him to undo is his embrace of authoritarian, undemocratic dictators like Putin and Erdogan, and I'd like him to go back and embrace our democratic allies, including our NATO partners and our democratic allies in the Eastern Asia, because America is best when America leads. And we need to be the leader of the free world. We will never be accepted with Russia and China and North Korea. We need to lead again. We need to go back to being the leader of the free world.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
I'd like to see President Trump finally take Greenland. It's strategic. It's a strategic thing. President Trump is playing 4-dimensional or 5-dimensional chess with China and Russia, and part of it is what's going on in Iran to deprive China and Russia of cheap oil, like he did in Venezuela, and to avoid World War III, which is coming with our mortal enemy, China. We should all be united in this, Democrats and Republicans, as we were in past wars, in this coming war, which is very dangerous. If Iran gets a nuclear bomb, it's basically unimaginable.
Thank you. Thank you. So we heard our panel talk. Would anybody, we have 5 minutes left. Would anybody like to pass a comment on what Trump should do or Trump should undo? Say again, make it louder. All right, okay. Anybody else? You're raising your hand, sir. Go ahead. Make it louder, shout louder. Go ahead.
I would like to see us go, that he not waver in terms of the war in Iran, and that we achieve total victory, which would mean the collapse of the evil regime in Iran and replace it with a competent and pro-Western government. And I think something should be done about the estate tax.
Okay, go ahead, sir. We're letting our audience have the last word on this one.
Trump issued an executive order on marijuana rescheduling. Many Western Americans against legalizing marijuana organizations strongly oppose this. We hope that he undoes that and reverses on rescheduling marijuana.
Okay. Anybody else? Say again?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna have dinner at 10 o'clock tonight.
You're gonna have dinner at 10 o'clock tonight? I hear everything that's going on over here. All right.
You're in New York, and grab a slice of pizza.
Yeah. We're supposed to be pizza tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're not going to go on to another subject. I want to thank everyone. This was it was thought-provoking. I'd like to thank our panel. Very nice. Thank you.
You were good host, too.
And our host.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
$10,000?
Yeah.
What's in here? What's in here?
Appreciation certificates.
Appreciation certificate. I've been getting those lately. We're not going to say from whom. Again, panel, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Okay, let me go to some the remaining of the meetings. We have a couple of more announcements, and we're going to do the 50-50 announcement. On May 12th, thanks to Stan Norwalk, we're having free baseball tickets and Mets tickets against Detroit Tigers. Evening game, again, that's Tuesday, May 12th. Those interested, we'll be sending an email notice to everyone as well, so anyone interested, let us know. Unfortunately, it's in the nosebleed seats, in the upper sections. Listen, anyone else want to make some announcements before we close the meeting? Isaiah Vega.
My friend Brendan Castro here is running for the Assembly in District 30. He has a fundraiser in 2 days. Saturday, March 21st, I'll be handing out flyers. We have special guest Curtis Sliwa and some others, William Barron and Sean Lee with the US7. So I'll be handing out flyers and hopefully you can come. It's $25 and yeah, let's have a good time.
Okay, anyone else want to make some announcements before I announce the winners of the 50-50 drawing?
One thing. Hey, listen, just so you know, I am running for office, so if anybody does want to give me $5, just come and come see me, because I'm running against a legacy candidate, been in office 20 years, and that's not good for anyone. No country should have a 20-year candidate. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Now, the winner of the 50-50 drawings are, let's see, these people basically go to the table to pick anything you like. Aaron and Richard. Please, anything from the table, and the winner of the 50-50, George Morris. Congratulations, George. Okay. If there are no other announcements, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay. Jim, second by Richard. All in favor says aye. Thank you very much.